Hey everyone, Ida from PGP here, and welcome back to Headline Monday. So, what happened last week? Well, while there were some team headlines, I want to start off with some larger, shall we say, F1 news concerning like track updates, FIA, and stuff like that. So, let's dive in. So, as you might have heard, from 2026 onwards, the Madrid GP will join the calendar. And while there isn't like a definitive answer what will happen to Barcelona, there are rumors that Barcelona will lose its spot. That is why they now committed to track improvements worth 50 million euros, roughly around $50 million, in order to try to keep their spot on the calendar. Honestly, as a Barcelona girly, let's hope it works. In other news, as you might have heard, Felipe Massa is now trying to sue the FIA and Formula One because of him losing the 2008 World Championship. And he has now filed it with the courts and everything. And he himself said last week that he thinks he has a strong defense. And honestly, that might be the case, but I'm curious to see what he will hope to gain from this, because does he think he will get the World Championship title after almost 20 years? Is he looking for monetary compensation? Who knows? So hopefully we'll get more details on that. And then on another aspect of the FIA, we have the FIA Ethics Committee coming out and saying that their investigation into Ben Sulayem regarding race fixing in Saudi Arabia and Vegas last year found no wrongdoing. And yeah, they're like, it is what it is. There was nothing done wrong. And they stress that it was an independent investigation. So we'll see what comments are regarding this, because so far I haven't really heard much about it. But I'm sure teams and other F1 figures will come out and have comments, because it's a big thing. And then you guys might remember late last year / early this year, around the FIA prize giving, the FIA put Susie Wolf, the managing director of F1 Academy, under investigation for basically having insider information. And based on those allegations that were very quickly then dropped, Susie actually now filed a countersuit in Paris regarding those allegations, because she considers them very damaging to herself, to Mercedes, because Mercedes is involved because her husband is Toto Wolff team principal, in case you didn't know, and also to F1 Academy. And yeah. And then on the note of Mercedes, they actually have two employee updates. On one hand, they signed ex-Ferrari designer Simon Resta as the new strategic development director. He will start in 2025. And also, starting in 2025, they signed Enrico Sample, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, who's supposed to head up their driver simulator stuff for 2025. And then we also have Lando that commented on the current car and what he hopes will be part of the regulations come 2026, because currently he thinks the cars are too physically demanding on drivers in the current ground effect era, and he sincerely hopes that they won't be as physically demanding as they are now. And then we have some Pierre Gasly news. He bought a partial stake in the soccer club FC Versailles, which is exciting. And then we actually, because the race was already early on Sunday, I also have some race information, that stuff that came out post-race that I thought might be of interest. So, as you might remember, Carlos Sainz missed the Saudi Arabian GP because of appendicitis. And even though he won the Australian GP this weekend, he admitted that he was still feeling some discomfort, but thankfully it didn't slow him down during the GP. I mean, his win speaks for itself. And he jokingly then said that he recommended to Lando already, one of his best friends on the grid, to get his appendix out ahead of next season, because it helps. And then additionally, you guys, if you saw the race, I know it was early this week, but if you saw, you might have seen on the last lap, George crashed. And Fernando kind of was involved. While he didn't like crash into him or anything, he was basically very close to him, and Fernando being so close to George kind of caused George to crash because he kind of wanted to avoid Fernando. So, but because of this, Fernando actually got handed a 20-second post-race penalty and also been given 3 penalty points on his license. The max a driver in a single year, not in a season, in like a full 365 days, is allowed to have is 12. And if they're at 12, it's a race ban. I'm unsure right now how many Fernando has, but basically the points he got this weekend will only expire next year, like in end of March next year. So I hope you enjoyed the overview, and if you haven't seen the Australian GP, go watch it. I highly recommend it. And if you want to know PGP's take on the Australian GP, watch out for our episode on Wednesday. Have a good one, guys.